The real Jack Sparrow was even more badass than Disney's. The real-life Jack Sparrow was English. He terrorized the Mediterranean. Then he converted to Islam and moved to Africa. His story has more twists than most movies. The arch-pirate was born John Ward in the 1550s. He grew up in Faversham, a coastal English town. John spent his youth working in the fisheries. In 1588, the Spanish Armada tried to invade England. They failed, and Spanish ships became fair game for privateers. Ward liked the idea of plundering Spanish vessels. He received a privateering license from Queen Elizabeth I, but in 1603, King James I ended the war with Spain. All privateering licenses, aka marks, were invalidated. Those who continued to attack Spanish ships were now outlaws. They were no longer privateers. Now they were pirates. John Ward was one of them. He convinced his shipmates to leave the king's service. Together, they stole a 25-ton bark from Portsmouth Harbor. Ward's comrades unanimously elected him captain. They sailed to the Isle of Wight and captured another ship, the Violet. Rumor said she was carrying the treasure of Catholic refugees, but the Violet turned out to be empty. Ward then used her to capture a much larger French ship, now properly equipped. Ward and his men sailed for the Mediterranean. They acquired a Dutch fly-boat of 32 guns. Ward renamed her the Gift. They sailed to the Morocco port city of Sulla. Ward arranged with Uthman Dey to use Tunis as a base of operations. Dey was the commander of the Janissary Corps. According to their arrangement, Dey would get 10% of all goods captured. From his Tunis base, Ward went on to terrorize the Mediterranean. He plundered any European ships he came upon. This almost caused an international war. In 1607, Ward's crew spotted a 400-ton Venetian ship in the Adriatic. After a 3-hour firefight, they managed to capture her. The cargo was worth millions. The ship was just as valuable. Ward refitted her, turning her into a massive man-o'-war. The former merchant vessel now had 60 brass cannons. The Venetian ambassador in London was outraged. Venice threatened to declare war on England due to Ward's piracy. The ambassador wrote that famous pirate, Ward, so well known in this port for the damage he has done, is beyond a doubt the greatest scoundrel that ever sailed from England. The English promised to take care of him. Ward asked James I for a royal pardon. The king refused, fearing a war with Venice. Ward reluctantly returned to Tunis. He accepted Islam along with his entire crew. John Ward changed his name to Yusuf Rees. He married an Italian woman, but continued to send money to his English wife. One of Ward's many nicknames was Jack Birdie. Captain Birdie was allegedly obsessed with little birds. Tunisians called him Jack Asfour. Asfour is Arabic for sparrow. Despite his conversion, John Jack Yusuf wasn't pious. An English sailor who saw him in 1608 left this description. Very short with little hair and neck quite white, bald in front, swarter face and beard, speaks little and almost always swearing, drunk from morn night. The habits of a forest salt, a fool, and an idiot out of his trade. Ward continued raiding Mediterranean shipping. He eventually commanded a whole fleet of corsairs. The flagship was his prized Venetian 60-gunner. In 1612, he retired, electing to teach younger corsairs gunnery and navigation. Ward spent the rest of his life in Tunis. He lived in opulent luxury until his death in 1622. At 70,